Build Your Wealth with Trajan Wealth featuring Jeff Jr. I'm Rusty Humphries. Now, before we get started, Jeff has a heart of a teacher, right?
I do.
Okay.
I do, absolutely.
Yesterday, you went to the dentist. And the dentist said what?
That I had some of the cleanest teeth they have ever seen.
So do you brush your teeth like 2, 3, 4 times a day?
I don't know if I want to say it. I do it one time a day in the morning.
So what? But you have found something that is working for you.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? So
what I've changed,
because we're going to talk about the estate checkup.
Right.
Let's talk about teeth checkup first.
So what I have changed in my routine. So I brush my teeth one time a day. I know some people are saying that's not nearly enough, but she said I had the cleanest teeth that she has seen. But what I have,
will you do a close up there? Go do a close up on the teeth. There you go. That's good.
So what I've changed in my routine was I'm using that new 3D mouthwash. I don't know who it's by, Crest or Colgate, but it's 3D. I can tell it's significantly different than other mouthwashes. You know, most mouthwashes just leave a minty feeling, but this has peroxide and some other stuff in it. So
it's doing 3 things. You don't know what 3 things they're doing, but it's a 3D, so it's got to be good.
They were very clean, and that's really all I've changed. So.
Okay. See, you never know what you're going to learn here. You got a heart. When you got a heart of a teacher, you don't know where you're going to go with this. So anyway, now we've cleaned your teeth. Now let's talk about your estate.
Let's do it.
And I guess, for me, I would think I'm only going to die once. Thank goodness.
Yeah, hopefully.
So I would only need to build my estate thing once, because it's only going to happen once. So just get my estate plan, go to a Trajan estate, get it filled out, and then I'm done, right?
So when you mention estate, you're talking like a living trust or something like that, yeah.
I guess.
So I'd imagine a living trust. So this is a document about yay thick.
Oh, is it really that big?
Yeah, it's generally pretty big.
Okay.
Has wills, pour over wills, power of attorney, financial, medical.
Okay, so I know when I would want to change it, when I get mad at one of my kids and I want to get them out of the well.
Absolutely. That happens. Hey, that happens quite a bit. That happens quite a bit.
Okay.
That does happen quite a bit.
Is there a time to do a checkup, like you check up on your car, you check up on your teeth, you check up on the estate, or is it really a one and done kind of thing?
It is definitely a checkup. Yeah,
Okay.
That's one of the big problems with a living trust. When people spend a lot of money working with an estate attorney, they do a trust, and then they just leave it. Then they just put it on the shelf for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. But the problem with that is a lot of things change in your life. You know, like you mentioned, if you do want to write out a kid, you know, you laugh about it, but that does happen.
Sure.
You know, whether it be because that kid is misbehaving, or maybe that kid even unfortunately passed away prematurely. So there are reasons that you may want to change your trust. Another reason that is not of your doing, but is of the government's doing, is simply because laws change. You know, so a good rule of thumb when it comes to having a trust reviewed by an attorney. There's a lot of document preparers and legal paralegals out there that do have the ability to review them, but I'd always recommend using an attorney. Have it reviewed at least every 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And you can have it very simply reviewed. That's something that Trajan Estate offers. We can review your estate for you. It doesn't cost you anything.
And doing it with an attorney, I'm guessing they keep up with what's going on with Congress and the changes in the laws,
of
right?
course.
Yeah.
And not only just an attorney, but also an attorney who focuses on estate planning. There are a lot of practices that have They do divorce law, they do trial, they do litigation, you name it, but then, they happen to do estate on the side. So if you work with an estate attorney that just focuses on estate, obviously their understanding is going to be a little bit deeper.
Yeah, you kind of don't want the guy that's just doing it on the side.
Right, right, and that happens often. That happens often, so every 5 years.
And that's one of the reasons you established Trajan Estate, because there was this need there, right?
There is such a huge need. You know, one of the things that I learned with the estate side is retirement planning and estate does truly go hand in hand. If you're going to spend a lot of time and energy accumulating these assets throughout your life, I mean, look at how important money is to us. There's very little we can do without money. Right? So we spend so much time and energy accumulating assets, investing in our 401k, being disciplined to save this money, only to have it turned over to the government or to probate or pay more in excess tax, or having it go to somebody who really doesn't appreciate the hard work that's went into accumulating this. It really does go hand in hand, and that's where Trajan Estate comes in.
I would also think a big time would be if you got married or divorced.
Of course, yeah. If you get married or divorced, it's very important to change that. It's very important to update that. I'd imagine the last thing you want is your money going to your ex-spouse. and her new husband or his new wife, right?
Yeah, you don't want it to go to Raul the pool boy. That's just me.
It happens. I mean, it happens. It's you know, unfortunately one of these things that just happens, but that's because people just put it off. And death is not something that we easily talk about. You know, you're not at Thanksgiving dinner saying, "Hey, Dad, what's going to happen if you die?" It's a very uncomfortable discussion. It's one that needs to happen.
Especially uncomfortable if your kid says that. Hey, Dad, so how much am I getting?
Right,
huh?
right. What am I getting? and it's always looked at as though, how much am I getting?
Yeah.
But maybe your son or daughter or whomever really is wanting to understand how it's going to work. And one way that you can broach that subject is by having a fiduciary advisor intervene, because now you kind of put the responsibility or the onus on somebody else.
So what if I had it done by one of those guys that did it on the side, a different lawyer? Can I still bring it to Trajan Estate, or you guys don't mess with other people's stuff?
Highly recommend that you have it reviewed. Anytime you have a trust by anyone, have it reviewed by somebody else.
Somebody that you trust.
Somebody that you trust.
Should look at your trust.
Especially, I'd say, if you have a relationship with Trajan Wealth, have it reviewed. Our firm puts so many different provisions in our trust. There is, we always say, not all trusts are created equal. There is a big difference between a trust created by, let's say, a document preparer as opposed to an attorney. Right? There are different provisions and rules that you can put into a trust. So just like when it comes to money management or wealth management, we customize our plans to meet the client's specific goals. We do the same with trusts. Unfortunately, there's a lot of websites out there, LegalZoom.
I was going to say, I bet I could go online and do it myself, right?
You can probably do it yourself, but there are general templates that you're going to fill out. And you're not even going to know that it doesn't fit your situation until when? I mean, until you're dead. And then you set your beneficiaries up for additional work when having that trust in the first place may have been the worst thing that you did. So now you're setting them up for additional work and additional effort. Now it might end up going to probate. I mean, who knows? So have it reviewed.
So again, like you get your teeth checked up, you get your car gets a checkup, a tune-up. Tune up your trust.
Tune up your trust, absolutely. And one thing that I'll mention too before we end is a will. One thing that I learned, I didn't know this, a will does not avoid probate. It does not.
What?
So if you have a will, it doesn't avoid probate. It's quite the contrary. A will is subject to probate. And then you have to go to courts, and what probate is it's really a lawsuit against you. You're going to be in the, or your beneficiaries are going to be in the court system attempting to fight for what they believe is theirs.
And it's the government saying, we want to take your money.
And it's very adversarial. I mean, it's intended to be an adversarial process. So the last place you want to the last place you want your beneficiaries to be when you die is in a court system, because what are they going to do? They're going to fight. You may have two of the best kids ever that get along and love each other. The last thing you want to have them do is be in a court fighting with one another, attempting to get what they believe is theirs. It's intended to be adversarial.
Okay.
And then one last thing I'll add to that real quick.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there is more. Is not only is it intended to be very adversarial, so they want you to fight, but also all of your information now, your family information and your financial information is now made public.
Ooh.
Isn't that horrible?
Yeah.
I mean, when you really think about it. So we spend our entire life making these two things private. We want our family information private. We want all the dirty laundry private. We want our financial information private. But when it goes to probate, it's public. So now you have all the creditors, any people who want to look up the information to cold call you to try to sell you something, it's now available. So there's a lot of reasons you want these things reviewed. Very important.
Okay.
Very important.
Very, very important. So please go right to Trajan Estate right now. I mean, hit the subscribe button, then go right to TrajanEstate.com. I mean, right now, you got me freaked out.
Sure.
So go to TrajanEstate.com to find out what you can do to get that estate in the right proper order.
That's right.
And if you have an estate, I got it taken care of, you might not. So you want to get it reviewed. You want to make sure that it's in the proper order for you and your family for today and tomorrow, not for 10 years ago.
That's right. Yeah,
right.
That's exactly right.
All right, hit the subscribe button. We sure appreciate you being here. Don't miss it. Make sure you share too. Until next time, thank you so much for being here. I'm Rusty Humphries. There's Jeff Jr. and this is Build Your Wealth with Trajan Wealth featuring Jeff Jr.
Rusty Humphries is a paid endorser. Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Estate planning services through Trajan Estate.